right. So, yeah, this is this cue thing that I made when I first started this whole, like, let's start making cues. This is the first little instrumental one. And then I played it for a friend of mine who owns a licensing company. And he said, "Oh, it's cool." He said, "I'm not really sure if I would consider it more." It sounded more like instrumental rock, less like a cue. So we kind of shifted gears and worked on some cues for this company. But then I came back to this, and I mixed it this morning. So not really mixed it, kind of pseudo mixed it. So this is going to be me mixing this instrumental tune. I did a little bounce out of where I'm at now with it, brought it out to the truck, and it sounded good. I mean, all right. My wife scored firewood. We have a fire pit. All right. Anyway. Oh, okay. So here we go. I don't remember where I was. What was I talking about? Whatever. So, so I took this thing, my instincts for mixing are getting better and better and better. I took it out to the car and it was like, yeah, it sounded really good. And it sounded like what I thought it sounded like. Sometimes when I used to mix, I would mix and I thought it sounded great. And then I take it out to the car and I'm like, whoa, what, where was I? But there's a couple things I just want to kind of look at. So we're gonna quickly go through this mix. We got drums. We've got a kick in and kick out. Now this is real drums. This is Tarek on drums. The cue thing that we did this week for this company, was more programmed drums. So we just got done mixing this programmed drum, like more aggressive song than this, almost more like a Nickelback kind of, I don't know, like my friend calls it butt rock, B-U-T-T, butt rock. I don't know. Not butt rock. I don't know. It's like beer commercial rock, right? Like, boom, yeah, boom, boom. I don't know. But riffy. This is a little bit more vibey. And the thing is what brought this about was this. I wrote this the week that I was getting the Aux box, and I was watching Pete Thorne's demo of the Aux box, which I watched that demo like 50 times. It's such a great video. If you guys ever want to have like 20 minutes of life, that's totally awesome, or 30 minutes. But he does an instrumental song, and this is a little bit like kind of influenced from watching his stuff so it's a lot of guitar kind of nerdery here and there, but more repetitive because I was trying to make it a cue. So anyway, I just wanted to finish it. So here we go. But yeah, so having mixed the other day the more aggressive percussive guitar thing that had had Superior Drummer was the primary, and then we did some samples and even put a little Stephen Slate drums on there. So but it sounds very hard, almost cartoony to my ear though. Like when I hear it, I don't know. So this sounds to me more like a band, but it's strange going from one to the other because this doesn't feel as like, I don't know. It doesn't have as much of an in-your-face kind of thing, though. It's more in your face. It's more in your face than I would have done 2 weeks ago before I worked on these other cues, because the other cues kind of got me on a path. So, we just keep learning, right? I mean, that's what we do. So there you go. We got a kick in, kick out, kick trigger. We got a kick sub. We got snare top, snare bottom, and a snare sub and snare trigger, which I was working a little bit on that this morning. And then we got toms and a tom sub, and we got all kinds of parallel compression. Each grouping has crush and a grit track. I got this idea, and it's really great. Nate was here working on a song with me the other day, my buddy Nate, and he was. I flew it in. I said, mix on it, see what you like, see if you think it's cool or whatever. And at first he's like, whoa, that's a lot of buses. And then when he got done, he's like, I kind of liked it. And then he texted me in the morning. He says, I'm kind of doing it over here. I'm making my own little template. It is cool. It gives you a lot of gasoline. So with each, like this is kick and snare crush, more of a slamming 1176, and then a grit one, which is decapitator. So kick and snare are going there, and then we come here and we've got a drum crush and a drum grit again. This is just the main drums, and I'm just using Fatso and Devil Lock. You just do whatever you want with it, right? And then you come to kick, bass. I've got bass, crush, and mammoth, which is kind of like bass. Which is kind of like bass grit because of the grit. This is such a great plugin. I can tell you, I can't recommend this thing enough. This is such a great plugin. I don't know who it's by. It's called Mammoth. Yeah, I don't know, but there you go. Then you've got your mix return and your final print or mix return. Where am I? Yeah, your mix return. It goes through all the plugins and then it prints on the print track here. And then master just shows the overall volume because, well, don't ask. And then I got a center section like VCAs, and then guitars, and a couple guitar tracks, and then I've got a music crush, music grit, and then the 10, my stock generic, not generic, but like with every template it comes in, just the room, plate, hall, concert, slap, eighth, quarter, long delay, AMS, which is like a non-lin reverb, and then split harmonizer, which is like Dimension D. Smaller, room to play. It goes from smaller to bigger, slap, eighth, quarter. So there you go. That's it. So let's take a listen to this. And the way this works is the print track. If it's in I mode, we're listening to the song. So if I go like this, we're listening to the song live. If I go out of I mode, I'm listening to what I just printed, the bounce that I took out to my truck. So you'll see if I solo the bass, that's how I always just double check. I just solo something just to make sure. So yeah, Alpha Rock Q1. One thing I did notice, where am I? Let me look at this ride track. There you go. that this is going to be all. The ride, I felt like I wanted it louder, but you just bring it down. Yeah, there you go. Let's try that. Because I kind of want to crank that ride. I want it a little bit more predominant, but I don't want it to be too wishy with everything. I just gotten I started like wanting to learn how to play slide. You know, I mean, I play a little bit, but I got a deal on a little Epiphone SG, and I put 11s. I bought it. I put 11s on it, and I got a rock slide. And I came in and I worked on this that day, and I just grabbed the rock slide and just started playing that and recorded it. So that was literally the first time I've ever done anything like that. And it came out pretty cool. But I think I did get a little cocky because then I was on another session and I was like, oh, dude, I'll put some like Leonard Skinner thing in. And I sat down. I was like, oh, wait, I can't really play. I could do that, like, but I'm not really like, I can't jam on it. But I will. I will be able to. I definitely will be able to because I dig slide. So. So much better now that I got this ride happening. That was bugging me in the car. It was just like, one thing that's weird about bass, like when I'm standing in front of a bass player, like I want my nuts rattling, like. But then when you're mixing these songs and you want everything to be in your face and tight and like punchy and glued, the bass it has to be like kind of more shaved. I don't know. It's I still struggle with it because sometimes I listen to like when I get the bass sounding better. I thin it out a little bit more. That seems better, and then I listen to it soloed, and I'm like, ugh. But right there, you have it. Keep in mind, over here, this is the bounce. When I'm in I mode, we're listening to the live mix. When I go out of live mode, we're listening to the bounce that I took out to the truck right before this. So, yeah. So, like right now, I'm kind of listening to that relation of the bass with the ride. Also, the kick seemed a little, the kick wasn't really super loud. It was doing something that my sub didn't like it in my truck. But it does that on commercial songs sometimes too. You know, I'll put certain things in, it just doesn't really totally like it. It gets like gacky sounding. So anyway, so when there's no I mode, so here's the original, the mix that I took out to the car. always the battle. It's just like, ugh. For me, I'm always running the gamut of like too much. Like I'm right below. I try to get right to the point where it's not too much where it's gonna suck. But man, I just want that thing pounding. And again, with this type of mix setup, I solo. That tells me I'm in mix mode because I can't see the bounce. It's down the line. Because I've sat there and done the thing that we make fun of clients doing, like you go to touch something and they're like, oh, that's perfect. It's like I haven't actually touched it yet. It's like a placebo effect. But I can do that myself too. I'm like fixing. I'm like, seems better. I'm like, oh shoot, I wasn't even in mix mode. I'm my own meme. Years ago in Hollywood, I mixed for this older guy, like a blues artist in LA, and he didn't really know anything about Pro Tools. Like he thought this was so far out, and he would say, "Oh," so it'd be like this. He'd say, "Hey, can you add a little bit of low end to the kick drum?" He would stand over my shoulder. I'm like, all right, hold on, and I'd go like this. He'd go, "Oh, that's perfect." Every time I instantiate the plugin, he'd go, no, that's perfect. I was like, okay. And then, like, little by little, I'd go and add a little low end because obviously it hurt it. I don't know. It's funny stuff we do, right? I messed with the kick and I don't like it. I'm trying to think of what the heck I did. Getting there. So weird to work on these drums after like spending a couple of days just doing nothing but program drums. It's such a different trip. That's an AC30, man. It's so crazy sounding. Has anybody ever worked on? Anybody had those stems for those Queen songs? Oh man, dude, they're so weird, especially coming from a world of Pro Tools. Like those guitars sound so weird and kind of funky and noisy and almost out of tune at times. And like, how does this? And then you listen like Killer Queen or Death on Too Late. Then you listen to the song, and you're like, oh my god, you didn't even hear it like that. And then this is the AC30 with the aux box using the AC30 cabinet, and yeah, it's cool. It just sounds cool. It's almost like a shredder solo that you would think would be like, through some modded Marshall or Soldano or whatever, kind of a funky kind of George Lynchy thing. And it's this. that's nice. Sounding good. So this is what we're going to be working on here now. These cues kind of in and around all the regular voice coaching and client work and songwriting and mixing other people's records and all that. This is fun, and this is mostly, I think these two tracks are my probably Billy Ocean, probably the this is 2 takes. This is 2 is that right? I guess. Hold on, let me make sure. I think it is. Hold on. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I screwed this whole thing up. No, it's 2 takes. I can see it's chopped. Yeah. So let's see what this is. Yeah, that's 2 Billy Oceans, and then and here's the Kemper in the middle. Dude, I've been using that Kemper every damn day. I love that thing. So this is so get rid of the Kemper. Here's just the Ocean left and right. Little phase thing in there between the parts. It's not out of phase. It's like the parts phase for a second. If this was a record, I'd go through and get rid of that. Yeah, and then this is the aux here. And I think this goes down the line. Aux 1. This is the first time I used the aux. AC30, probably with some kind of Telecaster thing. And then here's the slide, which is the epi. And then this solo, I don't know if this is the Jazzmaster. I don't know. Usually I used to write everything down, and I kind of don't write anything anymore. I don't know if I should. I just realized, it doesn't matter. I always just figure out stuff. I work on the fly anyway, so. But there it is. So let's do this. Let me listen to so this is going to be the bounce track here. First. It's better now with that cut that ride track and get it up there a little bit. I wonder if the snare could use maybe a little bit more space. I don't know. That's all she wrote. We're bouncing it out. So there is a little quickie on this cue, and yeah, things are good, right? Who's having fun? Teaching this morning, so the buffer is at the like totally lowest for the latency of the piano. Let me listen to this. Make sure it's yeah, it's close enough for Roller Owl. We'll get it right on the BAP. There you go. Usually it's good to cover them up. My dad would say, can't see it from Getty Square. Neighborhood cookie or places where we shopped in New York and Yonkers. So if my dad was like painting or something, and it's like it looks so hot. He's like, can't see it from Getty Square. Man, don't stress it. Look at that. All right, so we're going to bounce this out. I'll take a listen to it. Save where we're at. Well, hopefully I didn't lose the connection of the screen flow. Screen flow can get weird. If anything glitches here, it glitches there. So I'm going to bounce this out, and y'all have a good one. And we're rolling, baby. We're rolling. Yeah, buddy. Like and subscribe.